Good evening and salutations, my GH fans. I gotta sit there and say, for the most part, I actually really did enjoy this episode. Let's talk about the Ryan and Esme part. Um, Ryan gets put in some sort of room, and Esme is able to take the key card from one of the guards. So she comes in there and visits him, and you know, Esme's like, "Yo, listen, you could have blown our whole plan by you talking." So I'm like, okay, cool. This is getting interesting. It took like forever to get to this part, but we finally got there. So Ryan is Ryan is pissed off at her. He's very disappointed in her. You know, the plan for her being there and everything like that was um to break up Ava and Nicholas. You know, to insert herself into their lives, you know, seducing, um, I forgot his name for a minute, seducing Spencer and, you know, just kind of getting more closer to the family and stuff like that, making sure that their relationship is legit. So I'm like, yeah, she was, I mean, here's the thing. We all knew that Esme was playing Spencer. It just, the question was, to what end? And now we know. So, that's the plan. Turns out that now, okay, here's the thing. At first, when Esme was like, you know, sure thing daddy or whatever, and then she was like, you like when I say that, don't you? And I was like, um, now, let's be honest, that can be interpreted in more than one way. So I had to sit there and at first cross off the parent part and be like, y'all got some weird thing going on. I mean, technically she's over 18, but still. But it later on turns out that he does confirm that that is his daughter. So Ryan just wants to make sure that she's on task, and you know, he pretty much tells her to make herself more likable to Nicholas and Ava because, to be honest, they both don't like her. And Ryan's like, listen, it's easy to manipulate a teenage boy with raging hormones, but adults, they're a little more trickier. So just be nicer. Find ways to make yourself more likable. Which, good luck with that. So yes, I gotta sit there and say that was probably the best part in this episode. So they're planning on getting eloped. Brando and Sasha, they're planning on getting eloped, and they're driving. And there's one point where, well, Brando's lost. The GPS isn't working. They can't really get a signal, and Sasha starts to blame him, like, "Oh, are you sure you're lost, or you just don't want to get married, or whatever." Um, Again, I just, I mean, we go from them hooking up, having a baby, and then they're like this instantly going out together. Then the baby passes away, and now they're just kind of in this limbo where it's like they didn't really know each other that long as far as dating, so now everything's just kind of awkward. And now they're getting married because reasons. They talked to Gladys for a little bit, and of course, Sasha kind of just hurries up the conversation. It's like, oh, it's a lot of stack that's going on. Can't really talk right now. They're driving, and then the car, or the truck, starts to have problems. Starts to have problems, and Brando's like, oh, listen, we're kind of in the middle of nowhere, and even though I managed to sit there and get a call out, for a tow truck, it may take a couple hours. So, Sasha's just like, maybe this is a sign. It was like, maybe you should probably take this sign. Because here's the thing. What Gladys was saying, listen, we all know how I feel about Gladys. What Gladys was saying was absolutely true. When she found out that most likely they're getting, married and stuff like that, she was like, yo, listen, I gotta stop this wedding. Because, Gladys realized that Sasha or both of them are only they're doing this so that way they can get over the pain of the loss of their child. And, going into a marriage like that is, it's just not a good idea. Heartache for both of them. And she's like, yo, listen, they're making a mistake and I gotta sit there and stop it. And I'm like, she has a point. Like she has a point. Anyway, so Sasha's sitting there like, I just don't know if this whole thing is gonna work out. And then they see a truck coming their way. Now, what was kind of odd was, Brando was like, listen, I'll call, but it may take a little bit. And less than, I don't know, 2 minutes, there's a truck. There's a truck there in the middle of nowhere. So I'm sitting there thinking, okay, maybe these guys are like robbers or whatever. They're going to sit there and hold them for ransom or something like that, and it's going to be pretty interesting. But then I saw the previews, and they're at some place, and they're talking about, Sasha is like, I just don't know if this is a good sign, or she was saying something. I don't exactly remember what it was, but they didn't look like they were in danger. So I'm just like what? The truck. Then again, because I looked at it like, all right, it's kind of suspicious that Brando just called a tow truck and he gets in the car in less than 2 minutes. There's a truck heading their way. But then again, with soap operas and time and everything like that, it's like he could have been there for a few minutes maybe. So, yeah. Oh, and I forgot to sit there and say, yeah, Ryan can also walk too. So, um, now let's talk about this whole thing with Victor and Drew and Sam and Dante and Britt and Maxie. So Maxie is hanging out with Britt, and Britt is she gets the contents of Peter's stuff, and Britt's like, okay, cool. So I'm just gonna sit there and throw some trash right now. And Maxie's like, wait. It could be something valuable that could be going towards Bailey's college fund or whatever. And she convinces her not to sit there and throw it out. So they're on their way, that they're looking at it. I guess they go out to the terrace. And, Drew's like, yo, listen, we gotta sit there and get there fast because when Sam was like, yo, you know that Britt doesn't like Peter, so most likely, what do you think she's gonna wind up doing when she gets Peter's contents? So they hurry down there and they get there. Now, I was gonna sit there and say they get there just in time before Britt, throws it, off the balcony or slips or whatever, but they managed to get there on time. And, Victor was going out there to the terrace, but Drew stopped him for a little bit to quote unquote put him on notice. So after, some veiled threats or whatever, he leaves and Victor comes out there. Now, the whole point is, the whole way this plan works is that Victor has to somehow, they have to sit there and try to make it seem like somehow Victor found um the card. And I'm gonna be honest, the way this whole thing came together was like, what are the odds that Victor just happens to be at the Metroport with everyone there, and because the Peter's belongings could have easily went to Max's, but what are the odds that it just being right there delivered at that specific moment when Victor, is going out to the terrace, where everyone just happens to be, and of course, when he gets to the terrace, he sees Britt and Maxie, struggling for the box that contains Peter's stuff. So they're fake struggling or whatever, and the box falls on the floor and everything gets scattered, and you can see a tarot card. So they all start picking it up, and Victor, is like, hey, let me sit there and help you out or whatever. And everyone leaves, and Victor gets the card, like, oh, I got the card that can sit there and control Drew. And I'm like, the way these circumstances just kind of culminated seemed like this seemed like it was just like even for a soap opera, even for a show, it just seemed like it just seemed unlikely, you know. But I don't know. I guess they gotta sit there and try to speed up this plot because they're leaving a lot of other stories just kind of in the wind. Hey, remember Terry and Chad? Remember their romance? Remember their date and kind of seeing where that's gonna go? Wasn't it like 3 weeks ago or like 4 weeks ago, give or take? I feel like it was about a month ago. So yeah, kind of forgot about that for a good minute. I was like, I felt like the writers kind of forgot about that too. Anyway, Victor got the card, so they're gonna sit there and put their plan in motion by trying to activate Drew, and at that point they're gonna figure out what Drew's up to. I'm not gonna lie, it kind of took me a minute, and then I was sitting there reading the comment section. I was like, oh, okay, that's why. Also, not gonna lie, wasn't really feeling great for the last past couple of days, and I mean the thing is, it wasn't like it wasn't that virus related thing, but it was just when you're not feeling like 100%, everything that you do just kind of feels like it's 20 like 20% harder. So after Victor's toast or whatever, um, they start talking about guest lists and bringing Spencer on board, and if you gotta bring Spencer, then you gotta sit there and bring Esme. Yeah, Esme. You gotta sit there and bring Esme. And Nicholas is like, yeah, I don't exactly know about that. But Victor's like, listen, you can't invite Spencer and not include his girlfriend. They're going back and forth, and I kind of realized, listen, let's just try to just do this new chapter, whatever. Fine, we'll bring Esme to the party, whatever, and start trying to build some bridges. So when Victor leaves, Nicholas is like, so you want to tell me what the hell that was about? Because last time we talked, I thought we were gonna kind of just do a vow ceremony with just us in mind. Now, of course, Laura was sitting there telling Ava not to tell Nicholas about the plan, but Ava didn't want to sit there and leave him out and kind of like lie to him and stuff like that. So she told him the plan. She was like, "Yo, listen, your mom pretty much was like, we gotta sit there and keep Victor close because he can be a danger and stuff like that, and it's better to keep your enemies closer or whatever." So with that being in mind, Nicholas agrees and he's like, "All right, you're right. We're not gonna sit there and know what he's up to. We kind of gotta sit there and um gain his trust." So okay, I guess we'll get to the bottom of that at some point. I don't know. Some of this stuff has been moving at a very snail's pace. Stuff with Marshall. I mean, hell, even let's be honest, the stuff with Esme has been moving at a pace where it's like, what are you doing? What is your end goal? And to be honest, she was kind of messing up that plan for a hot minute. I mean, the stuff that Esme was pulling, at some point, well, I would sit there and say maybe at some point, like, um, Spencer would sit there and dump her. If the plan, for Esme coming into town and, like, for Esme to sit there and break up Nicholas and Ava, in order to do that, you gotta just sit there and get closer to, Spencer. Then doing all these over the top shenanigans that she was doing, which is kind of be counterproductive. So it's times like this that I don't know. I guess they had to sit there and do that to sit there and make her more interesting as far as like, the sex tape and everything like that. But again, it's just counterproductive to her plan. Like, and all this over the top stuff that she's doing is not gonna get Nicholas and Ava to sit there and trust her even more. So it's like I understood Orion was actually pissed off at her, but I'm also sitting there thinking I feel like this is kind of poor writing as well. So there's that. I think that's about it. So all in all, I'll definitely sit there and say that this was it was actually a good episode. I would definitely sit there and say it's a good episode. Um, yeah. So with that being said, I'm gonna go. I want to thank you for watching. Be safe. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. Also, I want to thank everyone for just the well wishes and stuff like that. Of like getting better soon and stuff like that. I really do appreciate that because it was between me feeling sick, me waking up hella early, like at 5 and 4 in the morning. Been a lot, but you know, doing these reviews and stuff like that is so fun, and I enjoy doing them and just kind of really interacting with people and just talking about all the crazy mess that's going on with all 40 soap operas. It's so fun that it's like that stuff doesn't hit me really. Like the tiredness doesn't hit me. It's like yeah, I'm feeling kind of sick or whatever, but it doesn't hit me as much because I just enjoy what I'm doing. And so, I just want to thank everyone for just, the comments and stuff like that. I really do appreciate it. So, yes, with that being said, I'm going to go. I want to thank you for watching. Be safe. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. Hopefully, this is a General Hospital kind of turning around and actually being good again and not like kind of boring and whatever. So, we'll see.